Okay, so video 2 in this series looks very, very similar. We have ourselves a circle. We are trying to find the missing dimensions, in this case the radius, and we're looking largely for diameter last time, but this time it's a radius. But here, instead of being given the circumference, we're given the area. This is slightly trickier because the formula is a little more complicated, because our formula is A equals pi r squared. But our method remains the same. Write down the formula, put in the numbers that we do know. So we're putting in 400 equals pi times r squared, and then we are solving from there. The only thing we don't know here is the r, so we should be able to solve this. Now to solve this, we're going to divide both sides by pi. So we get 400 divided by pi equals r squared. Again, I'm just going to flip that around. So r squared equals, and you can put 400 divided by pi in your calculator. That's not a problem at all. So 127.32395, etc. Well, what's the opposite of having a square? Well, if you think back to your Pythagoras work, when we had c squared equals something, the thing we do is we want to square root. So r is the square root of 127.32395, etc. If you keep the accurate answer in your calculator, you can just press the square root button and use the old answer and save yourself having to put it in twice. Putting that in the calculator, you get 11.2837916, etc. to 2 decimal places. That is 11.28 centimeters. So a very similar process in terms of you write down your formula, you put in the numbers you do know, and then you start to rearrange. This extra step, though, because we end up with an r squared, we've got to do that square rooting step. So have a go. There is a your turn. Work your way through it and see how you get on. And then pause the video and I will do the example in about a few seconds in the video. Great, so hopefully you paused your video there and you had a go. I'm going to run through it now. What do we have? We have A equals pi r squared. Put in the numbers we know. So 50 equals pi times r squared. Divide both sides by pi. So we've got 50 divided by pi equals r squared. And r squared therefore equals, looking at my calculator here, 15.9154 and 94309. If you haven't written down quite as much accuracy as that, that's fine, but at least give me 4 or 5 decimal places, absolute minimum. We want to square root that, so r equals the square root of 15.915494, etc. That is 3.9894228. And rounding that, we get 3.99 meters. So remember, we're starting with meters squared because it's an area, but our final units are just meters because it's a length, it's a distance. Great, so hopefully those 2 examples give you enough that you can have a go at the questions. And then in the next section, in the next 2 tasks, we'll be looking at reversing the other 2 formulae that we learned last week, which are the arc length and the area formulae.